right, everybody. Jeff, we are back.
Ready to roll.
Yes, so RE Plus 2022, Anaheim, California, everybody. Thank you for coming today. I'm Nich Pak, I'm with K2 Systems, and we're here today with Jeff, Blick from
GreenLancer.
Yep, and today we're going to be demoing for you our digital solutions with K2. Our entire mantra this year is connecting strength and connecting with our partners as well. So one of our offerings that we have, not only do we do racking, not only do we have phenomenal customer service and customer engagement, but we do have digital solutions for everyday projects, whether they're residential, commercial, or mixed projects that you might have out there in the field. What we're looking at right now is the K2 USA website right now, and I'm going to be going over our digital configurator, which is called our base design tool. To find base, it's very simple. Just go to k2.com and go over to base right here. After you do that, it'll ask you to log in real quick. I actually already have a login, so it'll take me to that page. Just let me refresh here. And when you do click on base and sign up for it, it just gives you asks you a couple questions about your company and obviously creating a password, and it sends you an email immediately on activating your account. So super simple to sign up. As I said, I already have an account, so it just logs me right in from my profile. So where you will land right here is the landing page for base. This is what we call our dashboard page. So from here, you can actually use a multitude of different buttons to actually start your project. You'll see here on the side, which is the main menu, which is a classic menu that we've had since we've had our design tool. We have the ability to click on a new project, open an existing project, reciprocally save your projects, which is cloud-based, so you don't have to click saved every time. It does it for you automatically. We also have an undo and redo on the main page. Video tutorials and news about our page. If you have any questions about the tool, we have an FAQ section. And last but not least, we have our Sherpa chat button here. When you click on the chat button, you have the ability to either use iMessage or WhatsApp to connect with our team. It will ask you a couple questions automatically because it is a 3-sequence questionnaire, which is an automated chat bot. And after that, it goes to our technical service team here at K2. So if you have questions about the tool, you can instantly chat with them. It just asks you, like, what are you looking for? What roof type are we on? Giving them some preliminary setup so they can actually kind of get a little bit closer to the solutions that you're seeking. So in the dashboard right here, you have the ability to see any of your past projects right here. You can actually bundle your projects into different sections. So if you have some of them that are completed, some of them that are in progress, if you have any tags that you have to use inside your customer relation management software, you can actually do that there. And you can actually copy a project and share it with anybody else on your team who has a base account as well. So let's go ahead today and let's start a new project. I'm going to click New Project at the top, and it's going to drop us right in the middle of the United States because it knows that I work in the United States. And we're going to go ahead and select an address right here. I have a very good suburban dwelling here in Denver, Colorado. We know it has snow conditions, we know it has wind loading, so we're going to use that address right there. By entering the address, it's going to use Google Maps. It's going to focus right in on that house, and we're able here to look at the property. So perfect candidate for solar right here. We have a great property, corner lot right here in Denver. In Denver, over on the map. We're in Anaheim. So so after you've plugged in your address, you can name your project anything you wish, and all of this information that we're plugging in here actually will go into your report and will also transfer over to GreenLancer so they can have more information about your project as well. So I'm going to go ahead and say that this is the Denver house for RE+. There are some questionnaires here that you can actually put inside of your tool if you want to. You can have planned installation dates. These are all elective. You don't have to put these in. The only thing you have to have is an address and a project name. And then from this window right here, we can select what type of standards we want to build it to. AS 716 is the current standard here in the United States, so we're going to make sure it defaults to that. Any information you want to put in about your customer, like this is Jeff's house or whoever's house it is, you can put it in there. Any kind of contact info, these are all elective fields that you can put in. If you, like I said, if you're using hashtags in your database, you can itemize that in there as well, like proposals for 2020, things like that. After that, you'll notice about the tool that it has six separate subject matters. You have your projects, loads, roof, design, results, and then finally summary. You'll also notice that those are not highlighted until you go onto them. So the tool's not going to lead you astray and let you get lost in it. It'll basically in sequence take you to each one of those things. So I'm going to go ahead and hit add the project, and then it's going to take me over to the wind conditions of the actual area based upon the weather conditions of that zip code. So it knows that we're going to be going there to Denver. We're going to go ahead and select its wind exposure as a category B, suburban dwelling. This information will also go over to GreenLancer, and we're going to put in a wind speed about 120. After that, we're going to click on its average snow load of 30 PSF, and we're going to click continue. From there, you'll see that it is itemized over to roof, and we're going to take a look at the building here, and this is where we actually get to draw our array on the actual roof here. It's going to ask us a couple questions about the actual structure. Is it a flat roof? Is it a mono-pitch roof? Is it a gabled roof? Is it a hipped roof? We're going to be installing particularly right here on the actual front of the house, so I'm just going to go ahead and click gable so we don't have to draw a trapezoid across it. So we're just going to put a rectangle of solar right across here. It's also going to ask us what type of roof material we're dealing with today. So composition shingle is this particular house, and you can name the actual roof of where it is. Let's say roof 1, front yard. Whoops. So let's say if you're installing on multiple roofs, you can actually categorize them in the tool. So if maybe we're installing on the southeast side. So after that, you'll notice here that my cursor has turned into a crosshair. I can zoom in a little bit further on the building, and I'm going to go ahead and write on the gutter edge right here. It has inline dimensions for you, so you can actually see what you're doing. We're going to shoot for just about, 30 feet there. That works for me. And then we're going to go up the roof right here. We're actually not installing on that corner gable right here, but that's all right. We're trying to get as much modules as we can into this rectangle right here. So after that, I'm going to pull that up to the ridge. This is the area, the surface area that we're going to be working with today. If you want to select anything else about the roof, like specifically the roof pitch, this is a 22 degree roof here. We're going to composition shingles. If you did want to change the roof type, you can do it here from this menu if needed. We do offer different types of roof materials, so if you're going to be using some of our corrugated brackets or some of the newer products that came from our demonstrations today, you can select that. We offer trapezoid metal, standing seam, tile, and of course flat roofs. This is just a nice comp shingle job. If we can also select the rafter spacing as well. So let's say you have like a funky rafter spacing in the East Coast somewhere, like 16 on center, you can, or 32 on center, you can itemize that in as well. So 21 on center is just fine for this particular job. We're going to go with that. After that, all I'm going to do is going to click continue. It's going to ask me if there's any other additional parameters about this property that we need to know as far as the weather conditions go. I've already itemized that in, so we're going to hit continue. Now you're going to see it's on the design portion of the page. If we do want to put any obstructions like a chimney or a roof vent in here, you can itemize that in there as well. Very simple to do. There's none in this particular square, so we're just going to keep driving. After that, it's going to bring us to our menu of modules. So we have a vast, oops, clicked a little too far ahead there, sorry guys. We have a vast menu of modules. All of the modules probably and more at this convention are itemized into this library, but I'm certain that everybody would probably like to know which ones are UL listed for our systems. We have an easy button for that. If you just go ahead and click K2 UL listed modules, it'll give you exactly what modules you're working with for that particular product line. So some of the modules that we have listed for our Crossrail system are different for some of the modules that are more commercial for like our ballast systems and things like that. So with that said, we're going to go with, it does remember my most used module, the last 3 modules I've used the most. I've been using Q cells a lot lately, so we're going to go with that. And we're going to go with, let's go with, as you can see, it does remember which modules I used latest. So we're going to go with, let's try these 400s right here, these G10s. Gives us dimensions and weight of the actual module. This is very important dimensionally for GreenLancer to know exactly what size module you're using so it flows over to them and they understand what they're looking at. After that, I'm going to click continue. It's going to ask me what system would I like to use, what type of racking. We're going to be using the Crossrail, the one that you guys saw up on the list, up on the comp roof right over there. It's going to ask me, do I want to have the software outfit the whole square for me, or would I like to draw it myself? I particularly like to draw this one myself, so we're going to get started on that. And by that, last but not least, you're going to click what orientation you'd like it in. Would you like a landscape, like it in portrait? We've noticed that module density actually performs really high with portrait. You can actually get a lot of modules in there. After I hit add, you'll notice again that the cursor turns into a crosshair and allows me to draw wherever I want the array. So I could draw it here. We can expand it a little bit further, anywhere you want. We can even make the roof bigger if we need to. So if I go back to roof, I can actually change the dimensions of the roof just right here by hitting edit. You can resize it, anything you wish to do. Go back to the design tab, we can fit more modules inside. I think I need to get the module array just a little bit slimmer to fit into that window here. Almost there. Let's move this forward a little bit here. And after that, I think we should be good. Give it a second to catch up here. So what the tool allows you to do is you can basically make as many arrays as you'd like to make inside a certain area. You can resize them, you can change the orientation, anything you really wish. It's very flexible on what it's capable of doing for you. I think I picked a rather massive module, so why don't we go back to the 380. I think the 380 is a little bit more friendly for this roof. So I'll swing this on over. Looks like we got a good cluster here on the front row of the actual house. After that, the last design portion, if I have any modules that are hanging over the side of the roof, it's easy to move them or change them. You can just hit this delete right here, and we can move that one out of the way. Or if you want to slide the array over, you can do that as well. We are going to be using all black components on this. The homeowner specifically asked for a very nice, sleek install, similar to what you guys saw out front already with all of our black clamps. And then from there, we got a nice 4.9 13 module system just right there in the front yard. In the sake of keeping time, so I can get over to Jeff and he can discuss what GreenLancer offers as well, I'm going to hit continue. It'll take us over to the actual results tab here. This is a top-down look of what the array would look like, attachment layout, splices layout, how many rails you're going to actually need. If you'd like to pivot to any of the equipment that you'd like to use, for instance, you guys saw our EverSeal splice foot out on the display table. Let's go ahead and pick this one for that job. It's right here with the splice foot XL, there it is. After that, we're using Crossrail 44. That's the rail that's out on display there in the front. If you want any other further accessories like end caps, things like that, we are definitely going to be using like Solar Edge or MLPEs, so let's make sure we have that hardware in there. We automatically populate that for you. The way that we do that is we actually take the count of the modules and we make sure that you have an MLP mounting kit for every single one of them. You can always add more of them in the summary page as well. Last but not least, it's checked the tool for me. It's looking the top down at the whole system. It likes what it sees. It's going to let me go ahead and continue to a BOM. This is our final BOM of what we're needing for the job. There's graphics about all of the components that you're going to need to install. All of our mid clamps, all of our components, output of the system. And where GreenLancer comes in is we actually have a whole suite of options here for you. So you can have just a very simple PDF report. You can export this to an Excel sheet with just a BOM. You can also get, if your guys' designers are very fond of using CAD, you can get a DWG file or a DFX file, whichever one you want, and they can import it into their templates that they already use. We also have 2 more buttons to go over here. We have our inverter designer, where we offer to export this exact array over to Fronius, GoodWe, Costal, SMA, and Solar Edge. That means that it'll plug in everything that you inputted here, it'll send it right over to those tools. And last but not least, we have our GreenLancer option here. So when we click this, it'll take all the parameters that I itemized into K2 Base and it'll send it on over to Jeff's team, and then he'll be able to show you what kind of services they offer as well. So I know that was rapid fire on the design tool, but it is actually optimized to be very fast. We can design dozens and dozens of arrays on this platform for you guys, and we can really optimize your guys' design and your guys' servicing capacity with your projects. So with that said, I'll go ahead and log out, and Jeff, are you ready to go?
I believe I'm ready to go.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Why don't I just close this window here, and you're all set?
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Jeff.
So, thank you, Nick. So, through the magic of the internet, when you click that button, you're going to come right into GreenLancer's platform. I'll apologize to you guys up front. Some of our stuff won't load through properly if I was to try and actually run you through a project from beginning to end. So what we did was we took a series of screenshots so you can see what screens you would be looking at as you move through the process. So, you know, this is the account creation form, pretty straightforward information. And if you actually click in through K2, an email is going to be generated, it's going to be sent to you, it's going to provide you a temporary password, and then you'll come in and change it, and that will be your login credentials on our website moving forward. One of the helpful things is that when you guys click it through to GreenLancer, all that documentation gets posted into that project form. So that will save you guys an extra step here in the future. Okay, so this is the project page. So if you guys were logging into our website natively, not going into K2, this is what you would see. If you wanted to start a new project, you'd obviously come here and click this orange button, and that would give you access to start a new project. If you wanted to go back in and look at other projects, you would click on Manage Projects, and we'll take a look at that here in a minute. Okay, so you're going to click Start a Project here, and then the first thing that's going to come in is the project information. This is a pretty important page. Because we've got engineers and designers in all 50 states, we need to match you up with the right designers and the right engineers for wherever your project's taking place. This is where we're going to do that. So, you know, pretty basic stuff up here. The important stuff is the address, and then this stuff down here. You're going to choose a solar catalog almost all the time. We're focusing on residential right now, but it's important to know that we can do commercial projects too. No size requirements there. Any commercial project we're more than able to accommodate. But the important thing to realize here is you choose residential, it drops you into the residential pricing bucket. If you choose commercial, it takes you to a totally different pricing bucket. So just remember, if you click through stuff and you're starting to see, you know, services in the thousands of dollars, you're accidentally in the commercial bucket, okay? And then you'll tell us how big the system size is. On the residential side, the pricing's all the same, up to, I think, 30 or 40 kW. And then from 50 kW and above, it jumps into a commercial project. You'll see the prices go up a little bit. Not that we're seeing that many 50 kW systems. So you'll click through all that, you'll hit Save and Continue, and it's going to bring you here. This is where we start to build out a quote. So you can see your project up in the corner there. It's the Vila residence. The address is there for you. It's telling you the system size and everything right here. And in order to get through and see what services we actually offer, you have to click Browse Services. So let's say you click that. The next screen you're going to see is this. This is the top part of all the services that we offer on the residential side. And then there's still more stuff down at the bottom here. I think for the majority of you, you're going to be looking at plant set services for both backup and without backup, PE services, so structural and electrical engineering, and then we can also do your interconnection agreements for you or for your customers. And those interconnection agreements, we take care of everything from filling out the application and submitting all the required documents all the way through to PTO. Okay, so pretty valuable service if you're finding that people are having trouble getting those applications done. So here's where the rubber meets the road. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here because most installers have the tool to create a proposal these days with Aurora or Open Solar or Sighton, or well, not Sighton, Everbright now. But those services are here. If you need them, you can select them. Moving next into permitting services. These are the permitting services without backup. So some things to notice. Right here, this is the company that is providing the service. This is the cost. This is the scope. Okay, and these scopes change from company to company and service to service. So you need to make sure that you're matching up the service that you need with the proper scope. There's going to be downloadable examples of the deliverable here, and you'll see we've got multiple different options here. The big thing I think to recognize is this most expensive one at $190, and by the way, this is all contractor pricing already. Retail is higher than all of this. Free revisions for 6 months. So for folks who are selling to DIY customers especially, they get their equipment, we drew them a plan set, and then they drag their heels for 4 months and everything's changed. Free revisions for 6 months. That will protect them from getting nickeled and dimed by the design company in the future. And then we're just going to kind of keep going through services. So again, SunSource is the people who are drawing it, example, their scope, and then their cost. Their cost goes down quite a bit, right? But they do not cover revisions. Some of this stuff is cut off. I think it's on the next screenshot. Yep, well, it's not, but when you get in here, you'll notice that the big difference is some of these guys charge for revisions, some don't. That's the thing to pay attention to. But again, company, cost, deliverable, and scope. And that's the same for every service we offer on here. Still, so now we're into battery systems. You'll notice the price went up a little bit. Diagrams are a little bit more complicated. BOMs are a little bit more complicated, so that's why the price goes up. Same deal. Company, price, example, deliverable, scope, okay? Same deal here, just more options. Still the same deal. We've got quite a few options. I do want to point out too that, we've got a special Tesla Powerwall permit plan set here. We've got storage only plan sets here. So that would be for like your retrofits and things like that. And then just want to point out, we can support off-grid plans, and we can get EE and SE stamps on off-grid plans too if necessary. So we've got the entire range of systems covered here. From here, now we're getting into structural engineering. So set up just like the other services. Company who is providing the service, scope of work, cost. So for $195, you can get an e-copy of PE review and structural stamp pages. A slightly different service with a slightly different scope, a slightly more expensive price. And again, these are going to be pretty specific depending on your project. And at any time, if anybody has questions about this, you can call me. You can call, my coworkers. We'll help you choose the right service, no problem. More PE stamp structural stuff. Important to note, down at the bottom here, you'll see bulk discounts. We do bulk discounts on everything. Bulk discounts on plant sets, bulk discounts on engineering services, bulk discounts on interconnection services. Some of this stuff we have loaded up in here. We can do, bulk packs of 50, bulk packs of 100, bulk packs of 1,000. Every one of those tiers, this price goes down, okay? So that's important to note as well. Now we're getting into electrical engineering. Again, pay attention to the scope of work. We all care about price, but the scope of work's the most important part here. Again, when you guys click through your project page, this page may be different because some of these guys may not be licensed where you need to do it, but it might be replaced with other businesses that are licensed there. So just keep that in mind. And again, you can see we offer bulk discounts for EE stamps as well. This is all residential stuff, yep. And so now we're into our interconnection services. Like I mentioned before, the scopes here, they take it through the whole process. So this can potentially take one person's job and allow them to do something maybe more helpful for the company. Allow our folks to do all the interconnection process for you. And like I said, it's from beginning to end. And last thing I'll mention, and this will become more applicable in California, we are partnered with Solar App Plus. This is the cost for us to just do your Solar App Plus application for you. The law was passed the other day. California is now all on Solar App Plus. We are a big part of this. We can help answer your questions about it, and if you want us to, we'll fill out all your paperwork for you. Yes, that's for permits. Yeah, that's for permitting.
Are you going to do it in every other state?
That's not up to us, that's up to the feds, right? So if it goes like anything else, it's going to take a while.
What's the turnaround with that usually?
Turnaround? 1 day.
1 day?
Yeah.
Is that resi and commercial?
Just resi, right? Yeah, for now.
They
Yeah.
haven't done commercial yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
It's coming.
Wow.
Okay, so now we're into the details page. You know, all this stuff is pretty straightforward. This takes me back to something that I wanted to point out earlier. When your folks are going out on site, you guys need to have a form that they're just filling in blanks, and each project would have its own page. If you clicked on the home button here, it would go back to our site survey forms. You could certainly download that and have it available for your salespeople to fill out. But there are two options for how to get all of the details over to us that we need in order to draw an accurate plan set for you. And that's here. So you have the choice, well, it kind of got cut off. You have a choice to either answer questions or download that file of the site survey. Answering questions, there's a lot of information we need, so that's going to take 15 or 18 minutes per project to upload and get all the questions answered. Whereas if you have that site survey plan filled out and it answers all the questions that are on here, which it will, you'll just take that document, drop it right here. K2's files are already going to be right here as well. You're going to go and you'll scroll down to the bottom of that, and there'll be a place to say submit and move on. It brings you here, and this is basically the checkout page. So you'll pay for it. At that point, the project goes from the user-facing side to the design and engineer-facing side. They'll pick up the gig and start working on it. You'll be able to see progress. So, you know, when you click through to purchase, it's going to bring up a review. You're going to review the scope of work, review all the details, make sure that stuff's all straight. You're going to send it through, and, you know, it'll add a payment method. It'll connect you to our secure payment processor, and then it brings you back to this. This is just showing the payment method and the description of what you're buying. You put in a PO number here for your accountant's purposes, and then boom, your order's been placed. At this point, it's on the engineering and design facing side. Somebody's going to pick it up. Our standard is 48-hour turnaround time for plan sets. If you're going to add a structural engineer stamp on there, it jumps out to 72 hours, but within 3 days, you should have your plan set and your engineering stamp. Now, this is the important part. So after you've gone through everything, you can go back into your manage your projects, click on the particular project, and let's say that, you know, 48 hours later, you had a change that you needed to communicate to the designer because the AHJ told you needed to change this bit on the plans. You'll come into the Vila residence, and this is the page it's going to pop you out to. Right here, the message box is where you type whatever you want the designer to change on the plans. And then down here, there's a box where you can drop files. So let's say, hey, we had to nix a couple panels, here's the new layout, right? Drop that file there, let them know what the change is. Our requirement is 24-hour turnaround time on comments and changes. More complicated changes can take a little bit longer, but we're shooting for 24 hours. And I'll let you know, we have analytics on all this stuff. We hold our partners accountable for staying on time, and we have analytics for all this stuff and keep very good track of it. So we got to keep everybody honest, right? And so this just showing that box where you can drop your files. These attachment areas are huge. On the initial project, you can drop in like 30 or 40 files if you need. Here, you can drop in quite a few files, not as many, but hopefully at this point, you don't need to upload a bunch more new files. And then this is what it looks like when you're done. And it's ready. So you'll get an email saying, hey, your deliverable's ready. You'll click on this ready to download, and it brings you to this screen. This is the download button. You want to download it first, put your eyes on it, check it for accuracy, make sure everything's good. If it's not, you're going to click on this button, which is our annotation tool. This is what the annotation tool looks like. So it's going to bring up your plan set, and it's going to give you the opportunity to drop pins. So, you know, let's say the address was wrong there, you drop the pin there, and then here you put what the change needs to be. And you can drop as many pins as is applicable to the particular project. And that's really about it for the platform and how it works. Hopefully this gives you guys a better idea. I'm always available to do demos. You guys just email or call. We'll set up 15 or 20 minutes, and I can take you through a live one when I'm back where the internet's more dependable. But thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you guys listening. And I know you guys wanted to have a conversation, and I'll be ready for that in just a couple minutes.